Now today we're going to work through a particular group of projects. Those projects are called the tower installation, and we're going to start with a particular project called our Floor 8 project. This is a multi-unit commercial building that we are building for Abbott Inc. And the project has multiple parents as well. The tower installation is what we call our TLP, our top level parents. And I can see that my current project is sitting with these particular transactions with it. Now, our project in NetSuite, think of it as a placeholder and as a bucket, a cost capture jacket, if you will, for those that are familiar with some of the older terms. And that cost capture jacket will allow me to track all the activity that the rest of the system is naturally capable of doing, but bring it together on the project with a good sense of the profit, the activity, the schedule, and so on and so forth. So before we come back to some of the high-level pieces on the data on the project, let's take a quick look at the work breakdown schedule. The work breakdown schedule, for those that are not familiar with the term, refers to the set of tasks that a project needs to complete, whether they are labor-only tasks or whether they are tasks that also include material management of some kind. And so in this case, you'll see that what we've done is we've used a project that is already set to some CSI standards, CSI standing for the construction industry. And so these would be common codes. Again, everyone has slightly different, what we call scheduler values. But this is one example for the 0330 series for cast-in-place concrete. And of course, if you're building a large tower, you probably need a good amount of concrete. So we figured it would be a good example to use. So you can see that this is a cast-in-place type concrete project. We are starting this project in March, and we're expecting the whole thing to finish by September 15th. Now, to complete this particular part of the project, and this schedule can be much more extensive. Obviously, a full schedule values could be thousands of lines long. We can break it up into sub-projects like what we've done here, or we can have them all be part of one gigantic project, which is unusual and unwieldy, but certainly can be technically done. Or you can take reusable components of projects. Think of it just no different than chassis parts of a car, and build a new chassis by just combining on your next project multiple preset templates. And those templates can be found in NetSuite naturally under what we call project templates. This project actually came from a project template for a concrete resource template. You can see that right here. And you can see we have all kinds of templates. The template simply gives us a quick and clean way to quickly create a set of schedules with a set of dependencies and a normal level of activity that we expect. After that, we can adjust. So this particular project represents a project made from that template. You simply go to here, create project, and let's say I wanted to do floor 9. I would say Abbott Tower, floor 9, and I don't like to use colons because NetSuite uses that to define child records, so we'll keep it that way. I'll attach it to my Abbott customer and the tower installation top level parent project. And so this is a hard child project level capability. And we'll go ahead and create the project. That's all it takes in NetSuite once you've set up your project correctly, that template correctly. And that template, we'll just go back to it while this thing is building its work breakdown structure. That template includes everything from resources, which can be generic, and then you can schedule and swap them later. You can see that I have architects, trades, general contractors, and engineers here. Each one of these resources can be tied to a billing card and a billing rate. And of course, that can be overridden at any given project or task level. It can also be overridden uniquely on a specific change order. So really quite a bit of rich functionality to be able to manage this. Your schedule itself, although we are showing a fairly detailed schedule, to be honest, most of our construction company customers do not use this level of detail in their projects. They tend to keep it a little higher level, and then they track costs more carefully underneath it. And we're going to talk a lot about that cost tracking in this demonstration. But what you'll see here is that we have child category or milestone-based tasks, which in this case is 0331 for structural concrete, with the heavyweight, lightweight, shrinkage. Of course, no project actually has all of them. This particular demonstration just shows you affectionately having several of them. Now, each one of these rolls up into what we call assignments. So if you were to open any particular task, you can see that I expect the general contractor to spend 5 hours here on this particular project, task, the heavyweight structural. And that's supposed to start as soon as possible with the predecessor of the low density concrete, finish to start with no lag. And so the start date right now is predicated to be 3/16. If I look further down at the heavy duty concrete flooring, for example, the floor finish, this is primarily trades. Again, the predecessor for this being the tolerance concrete floor finishing. And again, no lag, but a finish to start type work breakdown structure. We can naturally produce a Gantt chart on this. And so you can easily see that right here. We can just put this into a zoom to fit, and we get to see the entire project start to finish with the major milestones as well. We can highlight critical paths, so on and so forth. So some extensive project management and resource management capabilities already out of the box in the system. And we're just going to leverage that a little bit more fully for a construction-based project. So with all of these project capabilities and all the task level details, we can simply see that at a single level here at the task assignment level. We can see the planned labor cost, the actual time they've booked, if any yet, their billable rate, their current cost, which is their fully loaded labor cost potentially. Usually you want to use a fully loaded labor, but you don't have to. And efficiency construction solution can also integrate some of the other capabilities around around integrating payroll costs down to the penny, so on and so forth.